In this video, I will show you exactly how to use Apollo.io from zero to sending your first outreach sequence. So prospecting, lists, emails, the dialer, automations and reporting. If you watch until the end, you will have a solid foundation to run outbound with confidence. So first, before we get started, if you haven't yet created your Apollo account, you can sign up for Apollo and get it for free forever if you sign up through the link down in the description. So to follow along, just go and do that, enter your email or sign up with Google or Microsoft, and then you will get to the onboarding hub, and from there we can get started. Now, if you're new, Apollo is a sales intelligence plus engagement platform, so think B2B contact data plus email and phone enrichment plus sequences and analytics in one place. If you sell to businesses, so you have an agency, SaaS, you're a consultant or a local service, it can replace a full stack of tools. So as I said, they have a free plan which you can use for free as long as you want, but they also have a basic, professional and organization plan. With monthly billing, the professional plan is the most popular one at $99 per user per month, and that is also probably going to be the best plan. Now first I want to go over an onboarding checklist. So before prospecting, just do a 3-minute setup so deliverability and tracking work. To do this, what I would recommend getting started with is going to emails right here in the left menu, and first go and add a mailbox. So simply connect your Google, Outlook or another email provider, and you must agree to the Apollo terms of service. So from there click link mailbox, and after you do that you can now actually send emails. Now next you can add a custom tracking domain. This is optional, but I would recommend it. Now next, what I would recommend doing is going to the deliverability suite right here. If you have some recommendations, just work those out, but if you don't, what you can then do is here click get started, and you have a few steps. So first, set up your team for success. You can connect your CRM. So if you're using an external CRM such as Salesforce, HubSpot or Pipedrive, just go and connect those. Next, you can invite your teammates. If you have them, you can go and do this. If you don't, you can skip this one. Then next you can help your team build the pipeline, but I'm actually going to show you how you can do this. So go back to the main menu, and first outbound starts with a clear ICP, so an ideal customer profile. So what you can do is just go to prospect right here and then click find people or find companies, whichever one you want to use. And then here enter the filters for your ICP. So that's the industry, employee count, revenue, location, technologies. For example, use Shopify or hiring signals. For example, if you have an agency that optimizes Shopify conversion rate, then you would want to find people that use Shopify. So then you would want to use the technologies. Now, as you can see, for this, you will need to have one of the paid plans. So some features are going to be locked behind the paid plans, and that's why they are worth it, in my opinion. For example, CRM integrations and advanced filters are unlocked in the basic plan. But if you, for example, want a US dialer, automated workflows, AI research intelligence, and much more, you will need to get the professional plan. But even with the free data, you can do quite a few things. You can even set AI filters and buying intent. But for example, what I'm going to do is the number of employees 11 to 20. The location, I'm going to set it to the entirety of the United States. Then for industry and keywords, I want it to be e-commerce. And now I already have a pretty decent list right here. Now you can also see under emails, for example, this one right here, they don't have the email. Now for the ones with the check, they do. So if you need the email, only select the ones where the email is available. So for example, I'm just going to create a little list of, let's say, 5 people right here. Now from there, what you can then do is click save, and then here you're going to click on next. They can add them to a list, so I'm just going to rename my list to 1 since it's my first list. Then I'll also add them to a sequence, and I'll create a sequence. So here it will now take you to sequences, which is where the outreach happens. So click create sequence. Now you can create AI assistant sequences. You can use a template or start from scratch. I will start with a template. So they have 25 templates currently. So let's say I want a call based template, then I can select that right here. Let's say I want to use the quick pitch cold calling script, and I can click use template, and then it will import this template into my sequence. Now this one has a few steps. So step 1, a manual email. Step 2, a phone call. If I don't want it to be a manual email, then I can go and change it. So I can delete this step, then add a new step and do an automatic email and then move that up. Then from here you can now build out the actual email. So first enter the email subject. For this you can also use AI by clicking on prompt right here, and then you can select the model right here and then a prompt template. So by doing this, you can create a personalized email. Signal-based personalization email builds a highly personalized email based on multiple contact attributes. You can also build one on largely available attributes. For example, if I select single-based, you can see here some background information on our company and our goals for this email. So you can see it builds out a very personalized email. But you can also just do a standard email which everyone will receive. So for example, hi, and then if you want to add some personalization, that is possible. To do that, just click right here on add dynamic variables and for example, hi, first name, and then it will populate the first name automatically. Then here just write what the email is about. You can also write with AI, so you can create a new full email, AI snippet or a subject line. For example, I'll do a full email. And then to use AI, you can create a target persona. So you can add the company or product name. So this is your company, the customer pain points and value proposition. So basically what your customers struggle with and how you can fix that. Then you can add social proof and a call to action. So in this case, that could be, for example, booking a call, since step number 2 was to have a call. So just build this out, and then this is test A. You can also do an A/B test or an ABC test or even more by creating multiple variations, and that way you can really optimize it, and I do recommend doing this. So building out these steps is quite simple. Now step 2 is a phone call. So in that case, you would need to have the call yourself. So basically that will then be created as a task, which you will be able to find. But what you can do is add a task node. So in this case, that's a call. So this is your call script. Hey, first name, it's your name, your company, and this is from the template. So this is basically a little pitch that is in your task node, also for if they don't pick up, a voicemail. So once you're done, just going to click on save changes right here. And then if you want to use it, you can click add contacts, and then you can select a list. And then here, if you have a list, you can just select it. If you have multiple mailboxes, you can also rotate mailboxes automatically. And from there, you can then click add contacts, and then they will be added. And then you also want to go and activate it. So once it is activated and you have fully built out the sequence and you have added contacts that you want the sequence to be used on, then it will start running automatically. If you then go to emails, you can find all of the emails that have been sent and delivered and scheduled. You can see your tasks. So for example, if you have a task that you need to call one of your prospects, then you will be able to find that right here. And in this case, in the task node, it would then already have the call script. Now, for example, if you work with clients in the US, then you probably want to have a US dialer and you may not want to use your personal phone number. So for that, you can get the professional plan, and here you unlock the US dialer. Now, if you mainly do phone sales, so you call your prospect, Apollo is still very much worth it, even if you don't use much of the emails, because if you do your calls through Apollo, first of all, you will get the US dialer in the professional plan, but you will also get analytics. You can see, for example, how much you are talking and the other person. You have your transcript, you can search in the transcript, and it can even give you tips on how to improve. Now, if you already have a list of contacts that you want to reach out to, just go to lists right here and then click create a people list or company list, whichever one you have. And then here enter a list name. And then what you can do is just upload that from your CSV file. So if you have a list of contacts in Pipedrive, for example, just export them as a CSV file. And then here you can go and upload it. Now, what you can also use Apollo for is data enrichment. So for this, just go and connect your CRM, whether that's HubSpot or Salesforce. It doesn't currently work with Pipedrive, but basically if you connect your CRM, it will then see your contacts and then you can enrich them so you can find their email and phone number. Now that is going to cost you the credits, so you can see the amount of credits that you get in every plan. In the free plan you get 100 credits per user per month. In the professional plan you get 4,000, so 40 times as many, and an email will cost 1 credit, a phone number 8 credits. Now for enriching data it's between 1 and 8 credits. You can also have your meetings through Apollo. So if you go to meetings right here and go and create a new template or just create a meeting right now, single host, multi-host, round robin host, inbound router setup, or an intake form. If I select single host, I can now set up a meeting right here. I can set the duration and get the link and set a description. Then you can manage the host. So this adds all available hosts to the managed meetings, specific users. Then you select a specific host. I'll just do all. Then review the meeting hosts availability, so the minimum schedule notice, meeting buffers, bookings limit, the calendar visibility duration, and email reminders. they can select a form to be shown to the prospect when they book a meeting. So you can just go and create your own form. For that, go to forms right here, and then you can collect some data on them. For example, in the Shopify example, how much revenue are you doing right now? What's your click-through rate, etc. And then you can just implement the form and the call booking into your sequences. So from there, click create meeting. And now I've created this meeting type and it is currently set to active. If I now go back to my sequence and click create sequence, let's say I want to start from scratch this time, and then click on create, I can now add a step and I'll do an automatic email. And then what you can do, now obviously you don't want to send an email with just this, but in, for example, the third step, or after they have done a positive reply, you can then click on the calendar right there that says add meeting, and then here you can add the meeting that you want. So for example, this is the one I just created. If I go and insert the scheduling link right here, you would then have the scheduling link where the person can now book in the meeting, and if I connected it to a form, they will first need to go through the form. Now your analytics is quite important. You can see your emails sent by sales reps. So if you have multiple reps, you can see how many emails each of them sends. You can create custom dashboards and reports and goals. And you can see the calls made by sales rep. So you can see how many calls each person makes. Now there are also much more advanced analytics that you can find. But if you click try analytics now, so from here, for example, I can find my emails sent, emails opened and replied. This is the email engagement performance, but you can see there are a bunch more things such as meeting metrics, sales development activity, deals analytics and dashboard, sales rep command center, and so much more. For example, if I go to sales rep command center, I can see this week's email stats, last week's email stats, call stats, and this week's call stats. And basically they have very advanced analytics. If I click create dashboard, I can use an existing one or a template. So here I can select a certain KPI that is important to me. For example, this week's call stats. And if I then go in and drag that in here, I've now created a dashboard with this week's call stats. And then I can also have, for example, this week's email stats right under it. And from there, click create dashboard. And I've created my own dashboard right here. Now, for now, I have only gone over the calls and the emails, but there are two more forms of outreach, and that is first through LinkedIn, and the other one is a manual action item. Now, through LinkedIn, you can send connection requests, send messages, view the profile, and interact with their post. For example, if I want to have a step where I send a connection request, I can go and add that. And I can also set a default LinkedIn message right here, again with different variables or with a meeting link, a snippet, or you can view their templates. And let's say that after that I want to send them a LinkedIn message, then I can just add that as step number 2. Then here at the task node, message, and then here generate a preview for a certain contact if you have imported them. And then from there you can also add more steps such as phone calls, emails, and it's quite easy to build out. Now, if you go to your sequence steps right here, you can see a quick overview. And for example, if you want to create an A/B test, just click on the 3 dots, click add A/B test, and then you can A/B test it. Or if you, for example, go here, right now it's after 30 minutes, it goes to the send message. Let's say I want to do immediately after contact is added, I can select that. Or for example, if I want to do 1 hour after, I can set it to that, or even days, and then click save. So to get started, for example, what you can do is first build out an ICP. For example, you as Shopify store owners with 10 to 100 employees, they can pull, for example, 100 verified leads from their lead finder. They can personalize, let's say, 1 sentence per contact. You can create a 4-step email plus 1 LinkedIn message or connection request and 1 call. And you can cap it at, for example, 40 cents per day for 3 days. They can iterate based on the replies. You can create A/B tests and optimize from there. And in the analytics, you'll be able to view your bounce rate, open rate, and all of that. So that's what I'd mainly be looking at in the beginning in terms of reports. So now you can prospect, build lists, launch sequences, and track results in Apollo. Again, I'll leave a link to Apollo down in the description where you can sign up and get it for free forever. So that concludes this Apollo.io tutorial. If this tutorial helped you get started with your Apollo.io outreach, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel. With that being said, I'll see you in the next video.